Well, we've got our lines done. I'm going to go back to the canvas where we're going to create these planes. This plane is in the middle. This plane is on this face. This plane is on this back face. This plane represents the bottom. And these planes are the default planes that are in hide. Let's go back to CATIA. So here's your default planes that are always there. They're in hide to default as the default. So we'll go ahead and use the shift button to grab all three at once by selecting the top and the bottom, and then I'll contextual menu and hit the hide and show button. So this will pull this out of hide, or yeah, this will pull it out of hide so it goes into the show environment. If you look at the axis down here, you'll see the planes show up as soon as I hit the hide. And there are your planes. To get the plane right in the middle, use the plane feature. Found in Wireframe. I'm trying to go slow to make sure this window follows me. I've got like a 5-second lag here, so I'm going to click on the plane. And the one that you use for middle is the only one that has middle in it. So you just pick on each one of these until you find the one that says middle. Okay, I haven't found the middle yet. You just got to keep working your way through that list and look for the one that says middle. It's the only one that has the word middle in it, and it's the quick and easiest way to put a plane right in the middle of something. And it's very commonly used in production to get things to be split in half. You see when I go to normal curve, point middle is the default. Okay. Here it's highlighting what to do. Select the curve. Lines or curves, they're infinite in radius, so I can pick that line and select OK, and it puts a plane right in the middle of that line. All right, if I want a plane representing the bottom two lines, I can select plane. And what is kind of cool about CATIA, it's defaults to the last thing I use. So if I want to do a bunch more normal curves, it knows I want to do that. So if I select this line, it's going to default to try and create another plane in the middle of that line. But I can change it on the fly. I can hit the down arrow and take a look at that list. Which one would you choose if you wanted to create a plane that represented the bottom? Offset from plane, parallel, angle, through two lines. Not 3 points, but 2 lines. So if I select 2 lines as my type, line 5 has already been selected. So it's asking for a second line, so I got to highlight line 2. Highlight that so it's blue. And then I'm going to pick this line right over here. I'm going to slide this over here, and you see the text move? If you grab the text move, you can slide it off the part, put it someplace more visible. Select OK. And then you're going to create 2 more planes. The plane on the back wall here where these 2 lines reside and where these 2 lines reside. So I'll double click plane to keep it on, and I'll select this line and this line. I'll grab the text move and just kind of move it somewhere else, make it a little bit easier for me to see. Now when I move it way over here, it looks like it's way far, it's parallel to that. But if I rotate this around, that is just an illusion. See how that's really right on that same plane? All right, so when you hit move, you're just sliding it on that same 2D plane, that same face on the back of this cube. I'll select OK. Take a look at that picture. I got this one, and then I left this one over here. Oh, I think I did another technique. I can't remember what I did. I'm going to select this line Go back to normal to curve. Normal to curve is perpendicular, and the default is the middle. But if I highlight this, I could pick that point right here on this end, and it should move that plane to that point, to the end of that line. That is point number 3. So again, I just find it easier to grab it off the tree and select OK. So normal to curve can put a plane in the middle or on a specific point along this line, anywhere I want to. All right, it wants to do yet another plane. Just I'll hit cancel here. I'm going to go to my ISO view. And in this window, this plane is a little closer. You could always move these and adjust that. It's no big deal. You don't have to delete them and start over. Just double click. Anything you want to change on CATIA, you double click it. I grab the text move, slide it to where I want, select OK. See if I do a fit all in, see if that's about as close as it'll get. Okay. One last set of planes to create. I want to create a plane that goes through this line and place it over here. That's going to be this plane right here. Do you think you know what feature you would use to do that? Wireframe tab, plane, through 2 lines. Select your first line. So I just picked line 14. It's asking for a second line. I'll pick line 15 or 13. And I'm just going to move it over to the side by grabbing the move text. Oh, and it's doing that weird stuff. I just got a horrible feeling it's not recording this right. So I have a plane here that is in line or on that same plane as those 2 lines I just chose. All right, that's a very common technique. Another thing that's very common is to create parallel lines. So under plane, we have offset from plane. That's like parallel. Okay, so if I hit offset, I can select this plane and I can go a distance of 0.10 and preview that. So those 2 planes will be pretty close together. But if I wanted to make a whole bunch of them, I could turn on repeat object validation here in the pop-up window. Once you've toggled this on, you have to commit to the value of 0.1 as your offset and then select OK. It's kind of goofy because I feel like I should be able to tell it how many I want because that's how it used to do. Before I say OK, now I got to say OK before this window comes up to tell me how many I want or ask how many I want, and I'll type in 10. I want to create it in a new body, and you'll see why. I'll select OK. When I create that in a new body, it creates this new geometrical set. When I open that up, all of those planes are equal to each other. Okay. Again, I'll go back to the ISO view. So all these planes are equal to each other. Sometimes your eyes might get a little cockeyed looking at this thing. If I rotated it there, you can see that I went down 1/10 of an inch. And those are all these planes here. The reason why it's nice to group them, if I want to hide them all real quick, I can right-click on the geometrical set. And in the contextual menu, I can hit the hide show. All right, so all the duplicated ones are in the hide mode. Okay, I'm going to right click and hit hide show. Back to the isometric view. Fit all in. Save your model. This should be called wireframe number 1. I forgot to do this. Wireframe number 1, your student name should be here. The geometrical set should be named construction geometry. All right, you can minimize that like so. Make a picture, or you can leave this geometrical set so I could see the lines.